So, welcome everyone to the Parkinson's Foundation's Mindfulness Monday. If this is your first time here, welcome and congratulations on embarking on your journey through mindfulness. For my returning community members, I'm just so proud of you guys to continue showing up for yourselves and for others. Before we start, I want to make a very significant announcement. Today is my colleague Jennifer DeGrucia's birthday, and we all know that Mindfulness Monday would not be a success without her help. So if we could just blow out the chat with a happy birthday to our dear Jennifer. It does also happen to be St. Valentine's Day, so lots of love for my colleague Jennifer, her support to the work that I do, the work she does, the work that she does on behalf of people with Parkinson's. Jennifer, I'm so grateful for you. um, you know, I'm from Cincinnati and I'm a little tore up about the Super Bowl last night, but the boys played hard. It was a great game. And it's just phenomenal that the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl. So hooday. So welcome, guys. As you can tell, Mindfulness Mondays is a little bit more relaxed sort of virtual environment where we join together as a community and really get to see each other and practice in unison some meditation techniques that can help us relieve the symptoms of Parkinson's disease and just allow us to get in tune with ourselves. So if it's your first time, a couple things. Everyone will be muted for the duration of the session. It just allows us to reduce echo and can stream our co-host expert who's guiding us through our meditation nice and clearly. The chat is very active, as you guys can see. So when we're not in meditation, feel free to use that chat feature to submit questions, make comments about feelings or interpretations, impressions, things that you notice that come up, and we'll kind of cover some things as we go through that chat when we close. Again, trying to refrain using the chat during our time in practice of our meditation so that we can really focus on that mindful meditation piece. You'll see that lots of us are joining on video. This is the essence of Parkinson's Foundation's Mindfulness Monday. If you have the ability to and are comfortable with it, please do join us on video. It supports my work. It supports our guidance as we lead you through meditation practice. So please, if you're comfortable with it, join us on video. Our next session will be on February 28th with Dr. Taylor Rush of the Cleveland Clinic. Next Monday is President's Day. So just tune in to our YouTube channel and you can find so many types of topics to address for your mind to continue your mindful practice. So February 28th with Dr. Taylor Rush. And then this week, as part of our PD Health at Home events, our Wellness Wednesday program is dedicated to our care partners. This week, we're going to be talking about caregiver burnout. So you can join us on the 16th, that's this Wednesday, for a topic on caregiver burnout. You can learn more and register at parkinson.org/pdhealth, and Jennifer is going to drop that link in the chat for you guys. As always, if you're new to Parkinson's disease or your loved one is new to Parkinson's disease, we have our website, parkinson.org, as a resource that you can use at your leisure. We also have our bilingual helpline that's staffed by Parkinson's specialists. That number's on the screen, 1-800-4PD-INFO. If you prefer to type, want to email, we've got an email for our helpline at helpline@parkinson.org. And now it is a great honor to introduce our newest expert speaker, welcoming her to the Parkinson's Foundation's Wellness Wednesday, Ms. Jacqueline Fitch. She took her first yoga class out of curiosity and was immediately drawn to the graceful practice of uniting our conscious movement with breath. Many years later, she completed both her initial and her advanced teacher trainings at the Yoga Center of Columbia. She is passionate in her teaching of yoga as the ancient art of self-care and as a touchstone for our daily lives. Jacqueline was introduced to the methodology of Eden energy medicine, which led her to the integrative practice of energy medicine yoga under the direction of creator Lauren Walker. Jacqueline's teaching focuses on the body as a living system of energy as she leaves these modern and ancient techniques into classic yoga postures that activate our body's natural healing intelligence. Jacqueline is really going to be bringing a new taste to what we've been exploring on our Mindfulness Mondays. And so today I'm just so honored to be able to host our expert, Jacqueline Fitch. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Krista, and thank you, Jennifer. Happy birthday to you on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. It's so perfect that we're talking about transforming fear today because love trumps all, right? And there's no love more important than cultivating the love that you have for yourself. So kudos to you for showing up today to take care of yourself and your emotions. So we're going to talk about emotions today, and I'm really going to be sharing more than, well, all of this is very mindful work, but instead of a guided meditation at the end today, I'm going to give you some real tools that you can help daily to manage not only fear, but all of your negative emotions. And so we can transmute those emotions into love and joy and all those feel-good emotions. So first of all, know that emotions are truly invaluable. They're a really good thing, but only if we allow ourselves to identify them, to feel them, and to process them. So let's take a Mindful Monday pause. And if you came with pen and paper today, let's take a moment, and I just would like you to make a note. It can be one word of one thing that you are afraid of, because we're talking primarily about fear today. So you don't have to overthink it. Maybe the first thing that comes to mind, it could be a fear of falling. It could be a fear of traveling. It could be fear of COVID, or quite honestly, the fear of the progression of Parkinson's disease, either for yourself or for your loved one. So just one word, take a moment, write that down. All right, let's just set that aside for a moment. And it's really my message to you today is to know that emotions are informative, they're instructive, and they are important for our survival and well-being. They can either inhibit us or they can motivate us. So they play a really important role in how we think, we behave, and can influence every decision that we make in our life. Fear is an emotion that is inherent to us as human beings. We're born with it. We're born primarily with two fears. One is fear of falling. Okay, that's general for everyone. And the other is a fear of loud noises. That's an innate fear. It's a built-in mechanism that's necessary for our survival. It's an adaptive behavior that we have to help us identify threats. So in primitive times, this was super useful, right? It allowed us to survive predators. But today, we're no longer being chased, hopefully, by lions and tigers and bears. And most of us learn at a really early age to ignore our emotions. So as a child, we fall down, we cry, we're told, you're fine, it's okay, brush it off. You're fine, stop crying. But fear has this way of making us feel uncertain and insecure, but it's not meant to discourage us. In fact, it can become the very thing that prevents us from living our life to the fullest and thriving physically and emotionally. And we all have these fears, right? We get up in the morning, we turn on the TV, we check our phones, we listen to the news, and our minds automatically fill with this fear and this worry. And we all can certainly experience fear when it comes to navigating our health challenges. So where do emotions come from? They're influenced, we're going to get a little sciencey here. They're influenced by a network of interconnected structures in the brain that make up what is known as the limbic system. And it plays a vital role in our emotions and our behavioral responses. We also have an energy system in our body that governs that fight, flight, freeze response, but it hasn't evolved to know the difference between being chased by a bear or managing our modern day fears and stressors like getting stuck in traffic and being late for work and, oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired. So in fact, you'll love this, meditation actually trains the mind to move fear away from the amygdala and the limbic system, which creates that fight or flight response, towards the prefrontal cortex, which is our higher level thinking of the brain. So science also tells us that fear-based emotions can trigger the release of stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, which in excess can be super harmful to the body, weakens our immune system, heart issues, and the list goes on. But love-based emotions stimulate the release of healing chemicals like serotonin in the body. But it's important to acknowledge and recognize our fear. When we're fearful, we tend to isolate, we tend to shut down, we tend to withdraw. But when we're courageous, we puff out our chest, we're joyful, we're happy. So physiologically, it affects the body as well. But in every ancient healing tradition, before Western medicine, such as acupuncture and qigong and energy medicine, emotions are defined as energy in motion, emotion, energy in motion. So we're taught in these traditions to acknowledge that fear, to feel the emotion. We want to feel it and we want to have it flow through and move out of the body so it doesn't get stuck. So you've probably heard that phrase, the issues are in the tissues. So we want to transmute that fear into courage. And courage is simply our act in the face of fear. And we all have it. It doesn't matter if you can bench press 300 pounds or if you have $300 million in the bank, we're all faced with it every day. So it gives us an opportunity to develop an inner force of courage that expands our life and its possibilities instead of us wanting to shut down and go hide in a corner. So we want to name it so we can take action. We want to feel it. We want to notice where in the body it shows up. Often with fear and anxiety, you might feel it in your chest, but everyone's a little different. And we want to practice it, transforming it with tools and techniques, which I'm going to give you a few today. And we want to keep an attitude of gratitude, and we want to have self-compassion for ourselves because, well, first of all, in gratitude, it could be the simplest thing. It's like, oh, the sun came out today, or a dear friend called, or just feeling gratitude towards yourself for even showing up today. And to have that self-love and that self-compassion that we continue to cultivate. So the more that we learn to respect fear, the more we will be able to hear its wisdom. And the wisdom is in the knowing that you are facing new challenges, but you're also learning new skills about how to deal with those emotions. So we're all growing, and growth means that once we get beyond the discomfort, we will be stronger. So how do we transform fear? Number one, we move our bodies because we can become really stagnant and we don't have the energy to take initiative. So we want to breathe deeply. We can tone specific sounds that calm the vagus nerve, calm that fight or flight response. And we want to move our body to create space in the body for emotional energy to move. It's why we practice yoga. And yoga doesn't mean standing on your head or being able to touch your toes. It's just about creating space for that energy to move. So maybe you attend an exercise class for Parkinson's, for Fitness Fridays, or you put on some music and you start dancing because music and sound heighten our mood and it gets the blood flowing and it gets that fear flowing out of the body. And again, be compassionate with yourself because fear is not an easy feeling to allow. So I don't want to poo-poo it. It's good, but feel it, but be compassionate. But these tools can help us shift our emotional state. Okay, everyone ready to practice? Thumbs up. All right. So we're going to work on calming the nervous system today. And we're going to begin by taking a nice comfortable seat in our chair, feet firmly placed on the ground, feeling the grounding energy through the legs. Eyes could be open or closed. Just draw the head of your arm bones back. So you widen the collarbone here. So it gives space for the heart to open up. And I invite you to rub your palms vigorously together to generate some heat. And this is simply called palming the eyes. So you're going to rest the heels of your hands on those high, beautiful cheekbones of yours. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And also, I want you to cross the pinky fingers over the forehead. This actually reinforces that crossover pattern of energy in the body, which balances the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And your thumbs are lightly resting on your temples. Eyes can be open or closed here. And we're going to practice breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So you sigh it out. So let's take 3 breaths together. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale, sigh it out. And again. Then lightly place the fingertips over the eyelids. Inhale, and on the exhale, gently feather those fingertips across to the temples and give a little massage here, releasing any tension in the head, because all of our senses, except for touch, are located in the head. So a lot of energy, a lot of tension builds up in the head. So a nice little mini massage, a little Valentine's Day gift to yourself. Of course, it's always better if someone else is doing it for you. And then we're going to just simply smooth the fingers behind the ears. Let's do that 2 more times, as if we were just drawing our hair, pulling it back behind our ears. Now slide the hands down the sides of the neck and give the tops of the shoulders a little bit of a squeeze here, a little shoulder massage. And then draw the hands to rest over your heart center. And take a few centering breaths here. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, let's take our hands and move them to the sides of our body. So right underneath the rib cage, but a little bit more to the side here. Fingers can be spread nice and wide, and we're going to do some diaphragmatic breathing, because when we become fearful, our breath gets really shallow and we just breathe into the chest. And we want that diaphragm to descend. We want to feel the whole body expand on the in breath and soften on the out breath. So with the hands here, we're going to do that same breath where we breathe in through the nose, but on the exhale, I invite you to purse your lips softly and exaggerate the exhale as if you were blowing out through a straw, making the W-H-O-O sound. So almost as if you were blowing out a candle. So it'll look like this. And as you breathe deeply, feel the sides of the ribs expand, feel the front of the ribs expand, and even breathe into the back body. All right, here we go. Feet firmly on the ground, breathing in through the nose. Mentally say to yourself, breathing in courage. And as you blow out the candle, mentally say to yourself, breathing out fear. Again. Breathing in courage and breathing out fear. And again. All right. A little heart opening pose that we're going to do while we're seated in our chair. So place your hands on your knees or your thighs, and we're going to mimic blowing out that candle. So what we do here is when we bow the head, we're going to take an inhale, and it's an opportunity to look inward and to gain perspective. And when we lift the head and emulate that blowing out the candle, we're turning out to the world again, which takes courage, right? But we want to know that it's okay to be in a place of the unknown, that ultimately we are not in control. All right. So hands on the thighs, inhale, bow your head towards your chest. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, lift the head and blow out the candle. Twice more. Inhaling. Exhaling, opening the heart. And again. So that exaggerated out breath, that long exhale, will help calm the nervous system and bring the body into a state of homeostasis. Now just bring one hand to the center of your chest and begin to make circles here. Showing love and compassion for yourself. You can use either hand and you can go in either direction. And here we come into the fullness of our gratitude, of our energy, of our courage, and our resiliency. Continue to circle here, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, because that breath helps move that energy. It helps transmute that fear into courage and self-love. All right, we'll release that technique. And now we're going to get a little bit more active and be a little bit playful today as we activate the endpoints of our kidney meridian. So it's not important that you know too much about that, but if you do see an acupuncturist, kidneys are a highly revered organ in the practice of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And they're the body's prototype for fear and caution, for detecting and eliminating, which is dangerous, because the kidneys, think about it, they're the filtering system that detect toxins in our bloodstream and help rid the body of everything toxic, emotions as well as physically. So you can begin very gently by just finding the ends of your collarbones here and dropping down right into the hollows here. You don't need to know the exact point. And just breathe here, again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And this is like your on button. This is your battery pack. This is what wakes up the entire body. So remember how Tarzan would beat on his chest? Well, this is how he would wake up his energy as the king of the jungle. So tune in and whatever feels best to you, massaging or lightly tapping here or thumping or beating all over the chest as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you may feel silly, but that's okay. Just be playful. Meet your fear head on with this courage as you kind of puff out your chest. This is a beautiful exercise to do first thing in the morning or before a meeting or before a difficult conversation. Again, breathe deeply in through the nose and sigh it out. And you can go all over the body. It can be on the lower rib cage, the sides, You can make an open palm and tap on the belly, anywhere that feels good, up and down the arms, up and down the legs. Just keep that breath moving so you can get the energy of that toxic emotion out of the body. So we want to be this open vessel. So we feel the fear, we acknowledge it, we name it, and then we let it go. Okay. Resting your hands in your lap, I invite you to close your eyes. And I want you to feel what you feel. Just notice any sensations in the body, any tingling, any warmth. Feel your aliveness in this moment. And there's no right or wrong, whatever you feel. And if you don't feel anything, that's okay too. But let's drop into a moment of silence, because this is where the transformation happens. This is where the mindfulness comes into play. Gives our body an opportunity to talk to us. Right, if your eyes are closed, excuse me, go ahead and open them. And let's start to open up the body a little bit. I call this connecting sun and earth. So on the inhale, bring your hands together in prayer position right in front of your heart. And on the inhale, you're going to press one palm up so it's flat to the sky. And then the other palm is flat facing down towards the earth. And then on the exhale, bring the hands together back to the heart center. Opposite hand, inhaling, one hand up, one hand down, and exhale, come back to center. And we're just going to do this a few times on each side. You can do this seated, obviously, or standing. But I want you to feel that the length and the spaciousness that you're creating in the body. And you may even choose to look up towards the sun. This is a beautiful exercise to do outside in your backyard, in your bare feet come summertime. Again, using the breath, moving that energy, opening up the body for the energy of those emotions to move and release. All right, one more time on the opposite side. And then release. All right, one last, let's see. I know I'm running out of time here. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip one thing, but let's move to the last thing. The most important thing I wanna share with you today is what I call the oh my God points. What is happening is when you go into that fight, flight, freeze response, the blood leaves your forebrain and you're not able to think clearly. So by placing one palm over your forehead as if you were taking your temperature, think about it, when somebody is surprised or they're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So you're just going to hold your head here and you're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you get tired of holding your elbow up, you can rest that elbow on your desk. You could also take the other hand to the back of the head, right above that occipital ridge where the skull meets the neck. And again, you could rest both elbows on the desk. You can do this in bed or lying on your couch. But if you only have one hand, you're just going to leave it on your forehead. And you're going to keep it here as long as needed until you can feel that emotion, any emotion, fear, anger, grief, whatever it may be in any given moment. This is the most powerful and simple tool that I can teach you. It connects the circulatory system to the nervous system, to the meridian system, which relates directly to our organs. Let's take 2 more breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just know I've been known to hold these points for an hour. So thank you so much. I hope some of that resonates with you. And I'm going to turn it back over to, well, maybe I'm going to leave you with the journal prompt. And we won't take the time right now, but you can take some time after class today to maybe, make some notes about it. But my question is, what is one courageous action that you can take this week? So this is mindful awareness. You've got your tools, but what can you do on a positive note for yourself? Join a Parkinson's class, call a friend for support, get outside to breathe some fresh air, listen to music because sound changes our mood and our emotions. So I'll just invite you to reflect on that at some point today at a quiet time with your journal, with paper and pen. So thank you so much to all of you. I'll turn it back over to Krista. If she doesn't mad at me, I went a couple minutes over.
Fine, I do it sometimes too. Thank you, Jacqueline. And I really appreciate ending us with that journal prompt. So again, thinking of something courageous that you can do for yourself today, this week, the next time that we meet each other. It's a homework assignment, okay? So maybe when we come back together live on February 28th, we'll start our session by kind of flooding the chat with that thing that you did, courageous for yourself. And the chat, I did see first, many thanks to your guidance today, Jacqueline, on giving us some tools that we can, these holds in our body, these tappings. They're interested, one person writes in, if we can focus on other emotions. And Jacqueline made a very beautiful curriculum for us to continue growing our understanding of emotions through energy medicine. And so, yes, she has developed a curriculum for us to kind of address different emotions. Jacqueline, did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I'll just add that these tools that I shared with you today are good for any negative emotion that's rising up. So just remember that practice of the breath and to move your body, even if you are confined to bed or confined to a chair, these simple exercises, just anything that can open the heart. But, it doesn't only have to be fear. Any negative emotion that you feel that's constricting you, where you can bring in some spaciousness to open your heart to joy into this very moment, to this day, for whatever it may be. Again, the sun is shining, the smallest of things. It doesn't have to be anything grand.
Thanks,
and we'll address, I guess, Krista, I could add that in the next one, we're going to address the emotion of anger. So it's sometimes an emotion that's hard for people to identify with, especially for women, because we could be labeled as an angry, angry woman or mean. So yeah, so anger will address the emotion of anxiety, which goes really close with fear, and also grief and over worry.
A couple of people are asking on how they can continue working with you if you live on the internet. Jacqueline, yes, she does work at the yoga. She teaches at the Yoga Center of Columbia, but she also is a avid yoga instructor for people with Parkinson's at the Retreat Center of Maryland, who is also a community grant recipient of the Parkinson's Foundation. So if you guys are browsing the World Wide Web, find her there too. And she does teach classes. Do you teach online, Jacqueline?
I do. All of our classes are through Zoom. So you can be in any part of the world, and we'd love to have you. We have 3 classes a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Yeah. So Krista, what's the best way to get that information to them?
Everyone has the emails, those lovely emails that you guys get for your reminders, has our contact information. And if you email myself or Jennifer at florida@parkinson.org, we can certainly connect you guys with the Retreat Center of Maryland.
Yes, and I'm in my Thursday classes, I do incorporate the techniques and more that we did today in today's class. So I would love to see you there in any of our classes.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. Ending on What can you do today, this week, that's courageous? All right. Jacqueline, thank you so much for your guidance today and for continuing to grow our mindful practice and joining our community. Yes, happy St. Valentine's Day, everyone. And we'll see you live on February 28th. Be well.